I just wanted to share with you a few points that I learned from a sermon that I heard this weekend, preached by my mentor, Vasily Falad. He preached at our former church, Good News in Chisinau, Moldova. The sermon was in Romanian, and I was able to translate it into English. And so now I just want to share a few of those points with you. I wrote an article based on it, and thought I'd do a video just to share, because this sermon really touched my heart. It pierced my heart in some ways. It was about learning to respect our parents, learning to respect our elders, and learning to respect the people around us in society. One of the 10 Commandments, in fact, the first commandment with a promise, says that we are to honor our fathers and our mothers. This is the first commandment with a promise. And honor means respect. We have to learn to honor and we have to learn to respect. First, our parents. We have to learn to honor and respect God. We have to learn to honor and respect our elders in society, and we have to learn to honor and respect the people around us. That's not something that comes natural to us. That's why God has to make it a command. It's something that we have to learn, we have to be taught, and we have to put into application. And we have to practice that. It's not something that we learn once and it's done. It's something that we have to continually bring to mind. The sermon was from 1 Timothy chapter 5, and there are two verses that were key, verse 4 and then verse 8. Respect, like I said, is something that we have to learn. There are laws of gravity, there are laws of nature, there are physical laws that govern our universe, and there are also spiritual laws. In the 10 Commandments, that's the first commandment with a promise. If we do not honor our fathers and our mothers, then we don't honor God. We cannot honor our elders, and we cannot honor the people around us. The Bible tells us that our days will not be many, or if they are many, we won't be satisfied. We won't be content with the life that we have. But if we do learn to honor God, if we do learn to respect our parents, respect our elders, and respect the people around us, then we will have many days on this earth. And those days will be good days. Those days will be satisfying days. God has promised that. The sermon started off with respect being an attitude. So in 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 4, it reads as follows. But if any widow has children or grandchildren, they must first learn to practice piety in regard to their own family, and to make some return to their parents, for this is acceptable in the sight of God. So two words that were emphasized here were practice and piety. Piety can be translated as reverence, fear, or respect. And then practice. So again, that shows us this attitude of respect, this attitude of honoring has to be taught to us. It has to be demonstrated to us. First, we learn how to do that in our families, with our parents. As we grow older, they're investing in us, they're sacrificing for us, they're teaching us how to connect with God, how to learn to respect and fear God. In fact, the wisest man who ever lived, Solomon, says that in Proverbs chapter 1, verse 7, the fear or the respect of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. This is the wisdom and instruction that our parents are to teach us, how to connect with God, how to fear or respect God. And then the outflow of that will be that we learn how to respect, how to honor our parents. We can't say that we honor and fear God if we don't honor and respect our parents. If we do honor and respect God, if we fear Him, then we will honor and respect our parents, our elders, and the people around us. So it's very important that we teach our children this. It's very important that we learn this. And it's very important that it's something that we practice, that we apply, we put into practice on a daily basis. Now, respect is also seen in action. Attitude comes first because our actions flow out of our attitude. Verse 8 tells us about what the action is supposed to be. But if anyone does not provide for his own, and especially for those of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. The word here, provide, doesn't just mean to provide materially. That is part of it, but it actually means to foresee needs, to think about what needs may arise, then prepare to meet those needs. So this is very important as a teenager or as an adult who still has living parents. We don't just get caught by the need and then try to figure out what to do. We actually foresee. We actually study the situation and we try to figure out what needs may arise, then prepare to be able to meet those needs when they do arise. So here are some practical ways that you can show respect, that you can show honor, that you can take action to show that respect to your parents. One is when you're grown, don't be too busy to call. Don't be too busy to visit your parents. It's very important that you go and you see them, that you show them that you care. When you do visit, don't go empty-handed. Always take something. And take something as a gesture to show your appreciation and your thanks, the fact that you are grateful for all that they invested in you, for the sacrifices that your parents made for you as you were growing up. I mean, you had a place to live, you had food to eat, you had clothes on your back, and your parents provided that for you. And we need to be appreciative of that. We need to learn to be appreciative of that. Always tell them thank you for the sacrifices that they made for you, the sleepless nights that they had, the nights that they spent crying over you, the nights that they gave up so that you could grow, so that you could be happy, so that you could be an adult and mature, and then learn to take care of yourself. Find out what the needs of your parents are and meet those needs, one, without being asked, and two, not expecting anything in return. Another one is if you have siblings, encourage them to do the same thing. Work together with your siblings to help your parents out. Speak highly of your parents to your own children. Talk about what they did for you and the fact that how your parents are a blessing to your children because they invested in you and they did so much for you so that you could grow up. Teach your own children to be grateful to you for the sacrifices that you made, but also teach your children to be grateful to your parents for the sacrifices they made for you so that you can now sacrifice for your own children. Pray for your parents. Visit your parents and go to church with them. Do a Bible study with your parents. If it is possible, make a way so that your parents can take a vacation. You pay for their vacation and let them go so that they can rejoice in the time that they have together. And use this as a sign of your appreciation for all that they've done. The message finished off with an example from Matthew chapter 15. Jesus dealt with the Pharisees, these people who were of a high position and high authority in society, and they didn't get that way overnight. Someone invested in them. Their parents invested in them, sacrificed for them, raised them up so that they could get the education that they did, so that they could get the position in society that they had, so that they could prosper. But these guys, they did not appreciate their parents. They did not honor and respect their parents. In fact, it says these guys were complaining. They were complaining to Jesus because the disciples went to the market, and then when they came back, they didn't wash their hands before eating. But at the same time, Jesus brings something against them and says, hey, you guys, your parents are asking for help. They say they're in need. You have the ability to meet the need, but you don't meet that need. You are greedy and you don't want to help. And so what you tell them is, oh, all the money that we have, it's been dedicated to God. So if we were to take that money and give to you, we would be stealing from God. And so we can't do that. And so they dishonored their parents by doing this. And we don't want to grow up to be like that. We don't want to teach our children to grow up to be like that. We want to honor our parents. Now, these guys were very religious. They were very pious in their attitudes, and they claimed to respect God. They claimed to love, and they claimed to worship God. But in fact, the way that they treated their parents, the way they disrespected their parents, showed that they had no respect for God either. So, to conclude, this is something, again, we need to learn it. We need to practice it. We need to teach it to our children. We need to teach them how to practice it so that they can grow up, so that they can have many days on this earth, that they can have good days, that they can be satisfied in the life that God has given them. And I got a couple of questions I want to ask you here at the end. Do you see the need to help your parents? Are you appreciative of the fact that they did so much for you? Do you show them respect? Do you call them? Do you visit them? Do you speak highly of them? Do you realize all that they sacrificed for you? Is God teaching you how to show respect to your parents, to your elders, to the people around you? We live in a society that's very unappreciative. We live in a society that does not respect parents, elders, and each other because we're very selfish and we're very self-centered. Each generation has to be taught these truths again and again and again. So I pray that you will do your part to learn this, to apply it, and then to teach it to others. I pray that I can do my part to learn it, to apply it, and to teach it to others. And so that the next generation that comes up and the generation after that, all of the generations that we have an opportunity to impact while we're here on this earth. They would learn this truth, learn to respect God, learn to honor God by honoring their parents, by honoring their elders, and by honoring the people around them. God bless and have a great day.